Welcome to AI Explains. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a paper that completely changed how computers see the microscopic world.
Yeah, it's called UNet, written by Olaf Ronneberger and his team. Basically, they figured out how to teach a computer to act like a super skilled biologist, even when it barely had any study materials.
Right, right. And we have to be clear about the mission here. This isn't just, spot the cat where the computer just puts a box around something. This is biomedical segmentation.
Which is a really big word, but
But think of it less like a photo album and more like a high-stakes coloring book. The computer has to color in every single tiny cell perfectly, staying exactly inside the lines.
yeah. And if it colors outside the lines by even a single pixel, it fails entirely.
Yeah.
That's what we mean by segmentation. And to do that, they build a very specific architecture.
The way the computer's brain is organized, right?
Exactly. And it's literally shaped like the letter U.
Yeah.
The shape actually tells the whole story. You have the left side of the U, which is the contracting path. It's a computer zooming out.
So it's looking at the image and kind of squinting to understand what is actually there. Like, okay, this is a cell, that is a membrane.
But when you squint or zoom out, things naturally get blurry. You lose the fine details of exactly where those edges are.
Which is a huge problem if you need to trace a perfect outline for that coloring book.
Right. Very bad. So that's why the right side of the U, the expanding path, zooms back in. But here is the real genius part. They use these things called skip connections.
So imagine drawing a shortcut line from the sharp, clear image on the left directly over to the blurry version on the right.
That is the key innovation right there. The network actually takes the high-resolution details from the beginning, those sharp edges, and pastes them right onto the map it's building at the end.
So it perfectly combines the what from the squinting with the where from the sharp original. It doesn't have to guess where the edges are, it just looks at the cheat sheet it passed to itself.
Precisely. It allows for perfect localization. But even with a smart architecture, they had a really massive problem. They had almost no data, just a few dozen images, and usually, you need thousands.
Right, it's like trying to learn a whole language from like one single page of a dictionary. So they use a trick called data augmentation, specifically elastic deformations.
Which is really just a fancy way of saying they treated the images like silly putty.
Exactly. Biological stuff is squishy anyway, so they took their few images and stretched them, twisted them, and squashed them digitally.
And this taught the computer a crucial lesson. A cell is still a cell, even if it looks like it's been through a funhouse mirror. It forced the AI to learn the actual shape of this cell instead of just memorizing one specific picture.
There was one last hurdle, though: touching cells. When two cells are squished right up against each other, most computers just see one big blob and color it all in as one thing.
Which is terrible science. You absolutely need to know those are two separate entities.
Yes.
So Ronneberger used a weighted loss function.
Think of it like a really strict teacher grading a test. If you color the middle of the cell wrong, you lose 1 point. But if you color over that tiny thin line between two touching cells, you lose 50 points.
It forces the network to pay extreme attention to those boundaries. It learns that separating the cells is the absolute most important part of the entire job.
And it really worked. They entered a massive competition in 2015 and didn't just win, they completely crushed the previous best attempts. Plus, it was fast. It could color in a huge, complex image in less than a second.
You proved you don't need millions of images if you have a smart design. The U-shape plus those skip connections literally became the standard for medical imaging.
It's amazing what you can do with a smart shape and some digital silly pretty. So here is a thought for you to take away. UNet showed us that machines can learn to see complex, microscopic life perfectly from just a handful of twisted images. What other supposedly unsolvable problems are we ignoring right now just because we think we don't have enough data, when maybe all we actually need is a smarter architecture? Thanks for listening to this deep dive.